get it. Oh, wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Agape FM listeners, those who have tuned in for the first time, our regulars, our top fans, and family and friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to Agape FM, where we bring the gospel nearer to you. I'm extremely excited. It was kind of a little bit difficult to just turn off that song that just changed the atmosphere by Jonathan McReynolds saying, "Make room." I love that track. I just love it. And I just explained to John saying, after the week that I had, oh my goodness, the song really meant something for me today. But enough about me. You have tuned in on Encounter Me, where we create the platform for you to share about your journey, your testimony, and your relationship with God. And across me today, I've got the beautiful Mandisa. And before I speak about Mandisa, would you like to greet and say hello to someone out there?
Hello, Yolanda, and thank you for having me today. I'd like to greet the Agape family and everybody that is listening to us today and watching on Agape Live. Hello, everybody.
Oh my goodness. She's so nervous. So if you can, just drop a heart or a like on our Facebook page, Agape FM, just to make Mandisa feel it's all good today. We are all family and we are waiting in anticipation to have conversation with her. So thank you for coming on air with me, Mandisa. Allow me to read your biography and then we will take the afternoon from there. Right, Mandisa Makunga was born and raised at KwaBomvana, EToise, a small village in Stutterheim in the Eastern Cape. I just told her a story about Stutterheim. I drove one night and I got lost coming from East London. Very, very dark. And I drove the streets of Stutterheim. What a terrifying experience because I knew no one. But yeah, Mandisa comes from that beautiful small village in Stutterheim in the Eastern Cape. But is currently living in Port Elizabeth, now known as KwaBomvana. She is the only child with albinism in her family. Mandisa is the finalist. Yes, you heard right. She's the finalist for the first ever Mr. and Miss Albinism South Africa. She's very passionate about educating our communities about albinism and bringing change to the next generation of children who has the same special product about themselves, special makeup about themselves, albinism, through empowering them to be the best version of themselves. Once again, thank you from me, Yolanda Singh, for tuning in. And today we are all ears towards you, Mandisa. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, I was born and raised in Stutterheim, as it's been said. And I was raised between Port Elizabeth, Stutterheim, and Cathcart.
Okay.
Yes, I've been that child that I visited all my aunts because I did primary in Stutterheim, and then I did high primary in Cathcart.
Okay.
And then I did high school in Port Elizabeth.
Wow.
Or Ekabecha. And I did tertiary here, and I also work here. So I've been here most of my life in Port Elizabeth, here in Kabecha. I am the only girl. My mother has got 3 children, 2 guys and a girl, my eldest brothers. So I'm the last one and the only girl. And I think mostly about me is that I love the Lord. I love food. I love laughter.
You love food? Where does it go? Because it doesn't look like it goes anywhere.
No, I'm Well, I love food. I love music. I love
Wow.
laughter, and I love the Lord, obviously. And I love educating the community about albinism.
Yes.
For an example, for me, if you can take it a little bit back, at home,
Yes.
I was not told anything about albinism, ne?
Mm-hmm.
And at home, nobody said to me, but nobody treated me differently.
Wow.
So I never felt different at home because I was treated like any other child at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started on when you go to play with other children, and then
Okay.
you get the other children calling you names. And then
Mm-hmm.
I remember like one incident, because when I was in Stutterheim, I was with my grandmother. And then, like, when children call you names, and then when they call you something that you were like, okay, we were from playing to being called a name, or from playing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being called like an animal. And then I went back to my grandmother. I was like, okay, it was not fair and square now today. Like, it was not nice there, because then I was called a certain name that I did not like. And then my grandmother told me that, like, look yourself in the mirror and see how beautiful you are, and understand that
Wow.
Jesus Christ created you to be this special. So
Sure.
everybody is created to be special, but then you are also special. So we are not created to be the same. We are not meant to be alike. And then from that day onward, it was okay.
Sure.
It was okay, because I understood, because I think I was 6. I understood that we are not created to be alike. We are not created to be the same. But then and then I had my normal life, I guess. And for me, if, for example, we could talk about when did I start seeing the importance of educating the community about albinism, it's not something I've always done, or I've always seen as a need up until I think I was in tertiary, when I have my younger siblings. And then when my younger siblings asked me, "Mana, but Galok sis Mandy, why are you white? Why are you different? Get this young ones."
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, that the explanation that I got was something that you go on with. Like, no, Galok, we are created to be special.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
because it's but then we're like, yes, we hear you, ne? We hear you, but we're created to be special. And then that's when I started to learn about albinism.
Wow.
Because I was
Wow.
like, oh, okay. If I cannot make my own little siblings understand what albinism is, and then they can be able to actually educate their small friends as well, then there's gonna be an issue. So I started learning about albinism, what albinism is, and understanding that albinism is just when the mother and the father has no melanin, and then they both lack the gene of melanin,
Sure.
and then they create a child that gets to be so beautiful, that has no melanin. And then the effects
Oh,
of having
man.
the effects
Wait,
of having
you just rewind. Just go back a little bit.
Okay.
When you have a mother and a father that has...
a gene
Yes.
that has no melanin.
Okay.
Yeah, because melanin is that chemical that brings up color.
Okay.
So the mother and the father, they both have to have a gene that has
Okay.
got no melanin, and then they create a child that has got no melanin.
Okay.
Yes, and then because melanin plays such a huge role in a
Sure.
person, because it brings darkness more, so it helps with the skin.
Yes.
That's why we've got a lighter skin, and then because it strengthens the skin, it also helps with the light, because then you see that our eyesight, we've got poor eyesight. Yes, we've got different eyesights actually.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow. What do you mean when you say you have different eyesight?
For example, mine is, I'm short-sighted, right?
Okay.
I only see here.
Okay, so you can't see very
I
far.
can't see far, but then you'll find out that maybe my friend that's also got albinism, she can't see here, she sees far.
Wow.
Or
wow.
Yes.
God is creative.
Yes. Or you get some that can't see far, and so our eyesights differ.
So I'm trying to figure out, because maybe you will be able to answer, seeing that you're educating us. What does the eyesight have to do with the color of your skin, or the lack of melanin?
Yes, melanin contributes towards the strengthening of the eye, because most of the things that like for an example, most of the of my problem I said is like when it comes to too much brightness light,
Okay.
and then I can't actually, my eyes can't function in too much light.
Wow.
So if I have no melanin, I'm also sensitive to the sun. So because we are the light of the world, so everything.
Oh,
is got
excuse me. Did you all just hear that? They are the light.
Because
we are the light. I'm including myself in the, even though I'm a chocolate brownie, I'm going to include myself there. I'm the light. Yes, continue.
Because we are the light of the world, then everything that's got light, concerning light, we get to be sensitive towards it. Because even with the sun, I am super sensitive to the sun. If I do not take care of my skin, then my skin is going to get damaged, and then I'm going to be, an example, be in danger of skin cancer. So it's very important that I do take care of my skin. My skin is super sensitive. My eyesight is super sensitive as well because of a lack of melanin. So basically, albinism is just lack of melanin.
Wow. So what have you done to take care of your skin? What have you had to do? Did you start, how far back did you start with doing that? So what are you doing with your skin to take care of your skin?
Okay, I think although at home they never discussed albinism with me, they kind of like knew exactly what to do with the skin. Because I remember from a very young age, I had to use certain products for my skin, and I had to put sunscreen all day, every day, and I had to wear hats. We had that we had fights at home when they would ask me every time I go out, Mandisa, come back and wear the hat, and we're like, no, but it's okay. You know, so at home they knew exactly like what to do with the skin. So they would tell me that you need to put on the sunscreen every day for your skin. I remember this one time, we were going to the beach. The family was going to the beach, and then I was asked not to go, and then I was like, no, but why can't I go? And me being me, they were like, okay, you want to go, because I don't let them go. And they were like,
you like to put up a fight,
I was like, yes.
You're very strong.
No, why can't I go now? And they're like, okay, sissy, go. And then I still remember the burnt even
up until today.
Like, yeah, and it's true when they say that you should listen to your parents.
Oh.
So it's that, and then because then when I was a little bit older, then I had to choose which products I wanted to use for my skin. But then sunscreen is an everyday thing, and also our skin gets to be a little bit dry.
Yes.
So you make sure that you put on products that are making
are rich in moisture.
Yes, but then sunscreen is a must every day, especially in summer, because in summer it gets to be a bit much. Yeah,
the humidity and the heat is too much. Okay, so tell me quickly, how did you you mentioned earlier that at home they never ever made you feel that you are different. Has your brothers always been very overprotective? Explain to me your sibling love, your sibling relationship.
They were okay. I grew up with my two cousins that I grew up with around with. They're both boys, so I was kind of like more of a boyish, girlish.
They will share something, right? I also grew up with my cousins.
You see, so they were okay. I guess they were okay. Like I was this little small annoying little sister. So yeah. They're okay. I really don't remember them being overprotective. It's just that we had in my time growing up, we had to come back from school and be at home, and so they were never like really overprotective. When it was time for me to go to play with other kids, I was they let me go play with other kids at home, and then when I had to come back, and then I came back, and then if for that, I think my personality is not so shy, so most of my childhood was okay. I was a bit opinionated, and I can
tell your mouth is very sharp. I can tell that.
Okay, child. I think they were okay. They were not overprotective.
Okay, because I think you were feisty enough to stand your own ground, eh? And tell me, your schooling experience at school. How was your experience at school?
I attended a mainstream school.
Yes.
And it was okay because I'm a bit I okay, when I did not realize as much that I was short-sighted on like immediately.
Okay.
Because I was like this child that was a bit I would get the book and write on the board so that I
Okay.
can get to actually write the notes on my book. I think between primary, higher primary and high school, it was not really such a huge deal. But then when I look, when I reflect on it now, I understand grace.
Yeah.
Because when I think about it, I was like, I've never actually seen a board at school, but I was always the okay student.
Wow.
When I reflect, then I
Yeah.
understand that it's grace. But then at that time, I had people that understood me. I had friends that understood that I had to sit right in front of the board.
Okay.
Between grade 11 and grade 12, the teachers were standing behind us because my desk was there,
Okay.
right in front of the board. So my friends couldn't let my desk be there by itself. So my friends' desks were also
bless
there.
the Lord. You have good friends. We thank God for those good friends.
You know, so when the teacher had to teach, then they kind of like stood a bit behind me because I was short-sighted. So when I reflect on it now, I see that it was the grace of God to always have people that understood the fact, well, to be understood or to be given the book. Because with albinism, it's not like I cannot do anything, but then I cannot see on the board. So in order for me to cope at school, I need to be given the book where I write the notes on my own book, and then when the other children are writing on the board, then I've already got the notes.
Yes.
So yeah, but then it was in tertiary when I was like, Lord,
you gotta do something, yeah.
Because I think I started. I think in tertiary, it was where I experienced my first failure. I failed a module, and then I was like, Lord,
wow,
no, this is not it. I can simply not. I was like, okay, Lord, I am coping with having no melanin. I'm okay with that, but not to see. I think for me, if you could ask me what is that one thing that I accepted longer or was hard for me to accept, was the short eyesight.
Oh, okay.
It took longer to accept. I was okay being with no melanin and being white. It's fine. I'm okay with it. But I think that one thing that took a whole lot longer for me to accept is the eyesight. Because I was like, Lord, I cannot endure all of these things. What's going on? What's happening? Because wow, tertiary's got its own pressure, and then I knew that I was not coping because of the eyesight, and then I kind of like didn't exactly know what to do because it was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But then we thank God for the word. We thank God because the verse that actually my go-to verse is Jeremiah 1, chapter 1, verse 4. Before I knew you, before I laid you in your mother's womb, I knew you. So I was like, okay. I think that's when I started to reflect and understand that, you know what, if we did it in primary and then we did it in higher primary, and obviously we can still do it here, and then he did it. As he's still doing it today.
Sure. Mandisa, you are beautiful, and I'm going to comment something, and I really hope that it's not going to be taken inappropriately, but you've got the most beautiful teeth. You've got beautiful teeth. My goodness.
Sorry.
You really do. I'm like, I was going to ask you, how did you get it like that straight? You don't get people whose teeth is often that straight. But yeah, you've got beautiful teeth and you've got a beautiful spirit. I really enjoy your presence today. And you are beautiful. Talk to us about the competition that you are part of.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she's lighting up, blushing and all that.
It's the first ever Miss Miss and Mr. Albinism South Africa.
Mm.
The competition is done by Mr. Godfrey Mpachwe, and he's based in Gauteng.
Okay.
Yes, I think he was inspired to do the competition here in South Africa because he has been asked to judge the competition in Zambia, because they also have Miss Albinism Zambia that side. So that's why he felt like, okay, we do not have such a competition here in South Africa. Let me do
Sure.
the competition.
Sure.
Yes, and I entered because well, I entered because this is the platform to make awareness about albinism.
Yeah.
So this is a platform to learn more about albinism. This is a platform to relearn the myths that are being said about albinism. This is a platform to educate the community about albinism.
Sure.
This is a platform to inspire a young child with albinism. This is a platform to motivate a young child with albinism. So that's why I entered. I entered because this is something that I truly believe in, and
Sure.
I hope that even if it changes some like one child's life, for them to understand that they are created for a purpose, and then they can be anything and everything that they want to be. If it can just motivate someone to understand that having albinism means that you just lack melanin.
Sure.
There's nothing more to it, and there's nothing less to it. It's just a lack of melanin.
You are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So the competition is running from when till when, and what's happening next now, seeing that you are Miss Finalist. So
Okay, the competition was supposed to happen in 2020, but we had COVID. So we had voting lines, but then the voting lines were already closed in March.
Okay.
Then the pageant is going to be taking place in August, the
Okay.
28th of August. It's going to be taking place in Gauteng province. In Krugerstad. I think it's Centenary Mall in Krugerstad.
Okay.
So yes, I still have to go there and
Okay, I see that. I saw that. I saw it.
So yes, it's very I'm excited about it. Okay, a whole lot nervous and I'm a bit excited about it. But yes, so if there's anyone that would like to, for example, if you would like to partner up with the Godfrey Mpachwe Foundation for the pageant, you can contact me, and then we can take it to Mr. Godfrey Mpachwe, and then you can talk to him about it. But it's gonna be a beautiful event.
Wow. So there's a Facebook page on this pageant, or?
Yes, we do have a Facebook page. It's Mr. and Miss Albinism South Africa.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And then can we move slightly a little bit away from the competition? And I would like to ask you, just so that we can come back to you educating us as the community and all that. You shared about the fact that albinism has a shortage or lack of melanin, and it affects the eyesight and your skin and that. There's nothing that you have to stay away from when it comes to an eating plan, because you mentioned you love eating. So there's nothing that prohibits you from eating. Like people would tend to look at people that's got albinism, and you would be surprised how the strangest thought comes into the hearts of man. So yeah.
No, nothing. I think it depends on an individual. But there's nothing that we cannot do. There's nothing that we cannot eat. There's no way that we cannot go. It's just that we need to be extra careful when it comes to the
sun,
the skin, and the eyesight.
Okay, so your immune is just as strong or as any normal other person.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. And then another thing that I would like to ask you, in your opinion, being someone that grew up with this, do you think that there's enough awareness created around this, that people with albinism are sometimes treated differently because there's a lack of information?
The reason I decided to be part of the advocacy for albinism is that what I understood is that people do not know what albinism is. Our communities do not know what albinism is. So that is the only thing. What I've realized is that the only thing that the community know about albinism is the myths.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nobody understands that I'm short-sighted, for an example, because nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
So we are trying. I'm going to say that because now we have social media, so at least we have a voice. We get to to tell people what albinism is and what albinism is not. So it's not like it was before.
Okay. It is getting better.
Yes.
A lot better.
A whole lot better.
Yeah, I think the technology has really helped us in that essence.
It is. It is better. It is better because, for example, I didn't know anybody with albinism.
Is it?
Up until I was in tertiary, for an example.
Wow. Are you for real?
I'm being honest. I my first encounter was in tertiary, and that for me,
my goodness, now you
I
gotta
didn't
be
see
bluffing
anything
me.
wrong with that. For an example.
Wow.
So, but then now, because when I was growing up, it was like even on TV, I think there was one or two, like, but then now we are there. We are making our mark now. So now it's a whole different stance now when it comes to albinism. It is just that now we just need to come up with the facts.
Sure.
Because I'm sure everybody can see that we are.
Yes.
And
we are the lights of the world.
And we're lighting up the world.
Oh my word, you're lighting.
So now what?
Yes.
So now what we need to do is just, for me, what I believe in is that we just need to get rid of the myths so that the next child that is born with albinism does not have to grow up in myths anymore.
Wow. Can you share some of these myths?
One, we bring luck, but then the same people bring bad luck.
Wow.
In one, for an example.
Okay, it's the first time I heard that one. Okay.
For an example, because in some families, when a child with albinism is born, then they believe that their family is cursed.
Okay.
And then the same people that believe that people are cursed, then they also kill us to get the sangomas, what.
Wow.
So, or you met someone here in town. Hey, I see, can you greet me or just so that I can get lotto numbers?
Oh my word, you bluffing me.
So we...
okay, so if I had to be playing the lotto, you must greet me so that I can get the lucky...
they can get...
Oh my goodness.
So we get those, and then people would ask you. I remember the other time I think I was in Summer Street, and they're like, oh, so you actually do see at night? I was like, is you also see at night?
Oh my goodness.
So like there are these myths.
So people actually think you won't be able to see at night?
Because apparently my eyes, they said something about my eyes not being able to operate at night or something. So people have these beliefs about albinism, because I think maybe then it wasn't said. Nobody had come up and said that albinism is just lack of melanin. We don't create miracles. We don't curse people. We do not cure HIV. We do not possess any special powers because, So there's a lot that is being said about albinism that is not true. There is a lot of discrimination around families who have children with albinism. There's a lot of discrimination at work when a person has got albinism. There's a lot of discrimination everywhere. So we want to create a space for the next generation of children with albinism where they do not have to grow up in myths.
Sure. So you still do encounter sometimes where people discriminated against albinism in the 21st century? I mean, really?
Well, yes.
Wow.
It still happens.
I'm slightly intrigued, if you don't mind me asking, what have you done tertiary level? What have you studied?
Oh, I started a diploma in internal auditing.
Wow. Oh, so you're a numbers lady.
Well, I actually loved accounting, business economics, and economics in high school. I really did love it. So I was like, no. When they did when we visit tertiaries, and then like, when you're an internal auditor, they get to trust you, and then you get to do that. And I was like, okay, this is more me. And then I did that. But then when I started working, my first employment, I was employed as a capture, and then I was a receptionist, and then I was like, okay, I do enjoy this. I enjoy the people side.
Yeah.
So now I am going towards that side.
Wow. So you're currently still busy studying?
Yes.
Wow. So you are more keen on working with people. I actually see you more as a people's person. You just light up the room. Let me put it that way. Like you said, we the light of the world where we are. Oh, that is so interesting. So what are you currently busy with?
I'm currently studying psychology.
Wow.
No,
That's my second major, eh?
Okay, I just want to understand the mind. I want to understand
Yes.
people. I want to
Yes.
help in that manner of understanding. Sometimes when people Mhlambi, they bully you, or
Yeah.
it's more like they have a problem with themselves, because most of the time, whatever it is that you encounter, it is not something about you, it's something about that person.
Yes, yes,
So,
it is.
like, I would like us to live in a world where, like, a happily ever after kind of world,
Yes.
where we understand other people, where we understand diversity, where we understand that we are not created to be the same. Like, the world will be so boring
If we were
all
seriously,
the same. So that's what I'm currently studying at the
Wow.
moment.
I'm going to ask and love. Is there anyone on the scene right now, seeing that you are this gorgeous woman?
No, I'm still waiting for.
You're still waiting for your you're waiting for your Boaz.
Yes.
You're still waiting for
I
your
am
Boaz.
still here waiting for the boss.
I hope Naomi is close by. Mandisa, please talk to us about your relationship with the Lord. You mentioned that you love God. Can you tell us how did the two of you meet? What happened, and how are you journeying with God?
Oh, okay. I am a born again child of God. I think for me it started when I had to understand who I was. And I had to understand Albinism, because I think for me it started when there was this year where I didn't get a DP at tertiary, and then I was that's where I got to had a relationship with Jeremiah 1:5, because I was like, okay, Lord, okay, let's discuss this, because my grandmother, she used to pray every night.
Yes.
Like, she made it a whether I was feeling like it or I was
not feeling like it.
Whether it was raining or whether I slept at 5 and if she got to bed at 10 p.m. I had to wake up, like literally wake up, and not be like I had to wake up, be on my knees and pray. And my grandfather, he used to make me read scriptures to him, and then every time he had to preach, I had to do a verse, a recitation. So I think that foundation for me made me to understand that there's a God out there that looks out for us, because then it was later in life that I understood that, you know what, I get to pray in every season now.
Yeah. My God, because the foundation was cemented.
Yeah, because now I, like, on every season, then I understood why my grandmother would be like, Sissy, we don't play here, we pray every day. Then that got me to pray on every season. So for me, it was when I had to understand exactly, because it gets to, sometimes it gets to be a bit much when you are not, when you are not exactly where you thought you should be. Or when, okay, let's say for an example, when you're failing.
Yes.
And you kind of like feel like, but I know I'm not supposed to fail.
Yes.
I know I can do it, but then everything else seems like crumbling. And for me, music, worship, and the word, because for me, worship always puts me back together again, like someone, like, it seals me. Yes. So for me, it's been that relationship where I got to understand, but there's someone that like, for me, it's understanding that the person that did the sea, when I go and look at some stream and I look at the sea and I look at the waves, and then I understand that person that did that also created me. The person that did the sea also thought of me. So for me, that's who God has always been. I have this other name that I call myself, Babes with Grace.
Wow.
Because I when I look over my life, I'm like, This it could only be God, because wow, throughout my journey, throughout my life, for example, I did not crumble, I did not fall, even when sometimes situations, were presenting themselves for me to fall. But then grace carried me. So for me, Christ is the real deal. I cannot do it without him.
Sure.
He helps me. He heals me. He saves me. And sometimes he picks me up. That dude is my best friend. That dude is my father. He's also my God. So that is who Christ is to me.
Sure.
So yes.
Wow, I'm listening to you, and it's almost like I can tell you, don't stop talking, just keep on going, just keep on going, just keep on going. But it is a beautiful, beautiful sight and a beautiful sound on my ear to hear that you have this passionate explanation, if I can put it that, about your relationship with God. And as we know, we are at Agape FM, we make sure that the people can relate to us. And this afternoon, you have afforded the opportunity to us to learn and hear from the perspective of someone that has been labeled as albino, but in Christ you are a beautiful image. You created exactly the way you wanted you to be, fashioned you together with a purpose. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, he knew you would be cemented in him, your foundation would be unshakable, and you would have a confidence level that can top anything. So before we close, as we are currently on 3:44 p.m., I would really like to ask you, the fact that you are Miss Finalist, is it just for the Eastern Cape, or is it actually for the whole competition?
I'm the only representative in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
But then it's Miss Albinism South Africa.
Okay.
So I think most of the provinces are represented. So I'm representing Eastern Cape.
Oh, so you have met the other contestants and stuff?
We haven't met due to the COVID.
Okay.
Yes, but then we do meet on the group, and
Okay.
we have sessions on Teams and Zoom.
Okay, so how many are are you the only one from the Eastern Cape?
Yes.
Western Cape? Can you remember?
I'm the only one from the Eastern Cape. I think we are 13 ladies and like 17 guys.
Wow.
Yes. And,
wow.
I'm not sure which provinces are they actually from, but I know that it's Bloemfontein and Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, and so most of the provinces are represented.
Wow.
Yes, but then it's the first one. So y'all better get excited, because the second one and the third one and the fourth one is going to come, and we're going to keep you guys updated on what happens, how you enter, and all those stuff.
That's awesome. Tell me, Mandisa, have you ever thought about doing or creating awareness at the schools about albinism?
Yes.
Are you busy with that, or
yes,
with the school?
we do that. Okay, I think between 2020 and this year, it was a bit about the COVID.
Yeah,
that's why we couldn't
bringing
actually
limitation. Yeah, for us to be effective.
So that was it. But then because the 13th of June is International Albinism Awareness Day, so every year we'd make sure that we do an awareness on schools.
Okay.
And also September, the whole month is Albinism Awareness Month. So it is in that.
So September is Albinism
Awareness
month. Okay.
Yes, the 13th is International Albinism Awareness Month.
Wow.
Yes, because
the 13th of September.
No, the 13th of June.
Oh, the 13th of June is the International Day.
Yes, the International Albinism Awareness Day.
Okay.
Yes, because albinism affects all races,
yes,
flowers, animals, and everything. So we celebrate it internationally on the 13th of June, and then on September, the whole month is Albinism Awareness Month.
Wow.
So that's where we get to go to the schools, we go to the churches, we go to. So
there's a group that you're affiliated with here in PE?
Yes, I normally do it as an individual as well, but then I was a secretary for Albinism Society of South Africa in the Eastern Cape.
Wow.
There is yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes, so we did it as an association, but then also I'm also doing it as an individual now.
So if I'd like to present you at a youth conference, I can just make contact with you via
Yes.
Facebook and stuff like that.
Yes,
That would be awesome. I'm definitely going to, I hope John is not going to kill me for saying this, but I would definitely get your details after
No
the
problem.
session on air with us. I am really appreciating everything that you are sharing, and I would really like to wish you all of the best for the competition. And it would be so awesome if you would win the competition and
I'll
become...
come back with a crown.
I come back with a crown, darling, because yes, you are beautiful.
Thank
You
so
created in the image of God, and
much.
definitely He has a plan and a purpose for your life. It is so beautiful to hear from you. Is there any closing remark that you might have for listeners that's tuning in today that might have friends or relatives that has been labeled with albinism? What would you say to them today? How would you encourage someone today that is still struggling to get to terms with it, might be bullied for it, being discriminated or rejected, even in the family? What is it that you can tell them today, Mandisa?
I'd like to tell them that their power. I'd like to tell them that they must believe that they're created in the image of God.
Wow.
And I'd like to tell them to actually believe that they are the light of the world.
Can you please just say that?
They-
The
they-
way
they
you say
actually-
it, you actually make me wonder, am I the light? The way you really have a beautiful grace of saying that.
I believe it. Like, I'm convicted of it, that
Wow.
I am the light of the world. A city built on a hill that cannot be hidden.
Oh.
Basically, you can't miss me.
Oh, man.
But okay, the message was not about me. But I wanted to say to them that they must know that they are created for a purpose, and that they must not let people just bully them, because it's when people bully other people, it's not mostly about the
bullying. Yes,
it's about the one that does the bullying. So I'd like just to encourage them. I just like to encourage the parents to love their children, and not to treat them to be special or anything. Just for the parents to love the children, because that is very important.
Sure.
And just people not to stare at people with albinism, or think that there's something that they cannot do, or to think that they possess anything else other than beauty.
Yes.
So yeah.
I would like to add to that, and this goes across to any person out there, that if we can all create for each other within our family unit, whether you do have a family of your own or where friends become family, when there's a sense of belonging for any individual, and you are receiving love, you're receiving affection and acceptance, then there's nothing in this world that can shake or move you to the point where you don't know who you are. So as we are about to wrap up our afternoon, allow me just to reflect on Psalm 139 that says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You understand my thought from afar. You scrutinize my path and my lying down, and are intimately acquainted with all my ways. Behold, O Lord, you know it all. You have enclosed me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge, it's too wonderful for me. It's too high. I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? Because if I ascend to the heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in stone, if I dwell in the remotest parts of the sea, even there your hand will lead me. Your right hand will lay hold of me. If I say, surely the darkness will come and overwhelm me, and the light around me will be night, even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night is as bright as day. Darkness and light are alike to you, for you formed my inward parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrote in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were all written the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was one of them. How precious also are your thoughts towards me, O God. How vast is the sum of them. If I should count them, they would outnumber the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, men of bloodshed, for they speak against you wickedly, and your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with the utmost hatred. They have become my enemies. But search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there be any hurtful way in me, and lead me in the everlasting way, which is God's way. Mandisa, that scripture speaks volumes to me today, where you have come to enlighten us as a community about albinism and the fact that we should eradicate and really sweep our mind and our conscience clean of the myth that we have created around albinism, and really come to the point and the place where there's diversity beyond albinism. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. You are beautiful. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again. You've got the most beautiful teeth. I'm going to say it again. And I really pray pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you and cause your way to be prosperous as you continue to serve him. I bless the Lord for your grandparents and your parents that has really installed the word of God and brought you up in the way that you should go. And it's evident while you are becoming a beautiful, powerful woman.
Thank you so much.
You have not departed from it. May your relationship with God just keep on growing. Thank you for coming to Agape FM, where we bring the gospel nearer to you. Do you have anyone that you would like to say goodbye to?
Let me just say goodbye to everyone, so that I don't get into trouble for not mentioning anyone. So thank you so
That's a good one.
So thank you so much to everybody that has listened today. Thank you so much, Agape FM, for having me. I truly do appreciate the opportunity.
Wow. So, beautiful family and friends that's tuned in right now, remember on the 13th of June, 3 days before Youth Day, it is International Albinism Day. If you do not know about it, please make it your homework to just look. Today we have Google, we have YouTube, we've got all these internet access and cyber world access that can give you some information, and make it a plan and a point for you to pray that we as a society would embrace the people, not because they look differently, not because their skin color is different, but because they were created in the image of God. And the only difference, as Mandisa said, it's the only thing that they have that they are lacking or short of is melanin, the thing that brings color. So don't look at them funny. Please don't stop her again in the future and ask her questions about, can you see at night? Those are all myths. And I thank you, Mandisa, for bringing light. It's like the scripture said, the very entrance of God's word brings forth light. I really do appreciate it. And it's not that nerve-wracking anymore, isn't it?
Well,
I hope I made you feel at home.
Yes.
Okay, I think I can get an ice cream after this for that. Are you buying? Thank you, Mandisa Makunga, for coming, and we wish you all the success for this competition. It's happening on the 26th of August, you said?
28th of August.
28th of August in Johannesburg. But will there be a possibility for us to follow the progress of this competition?
Yes,
On
definitely there will be.
Okay, how would we be able to do that?
I will keep you guys updated on how, but I am sure you will get to actually see it.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's happening in Johannesburg on the 28th of August. And the month of September is known as
Albinism Awareness Month.
Albinism Awareness Month. So if you really would like to get to know more about this or educate your youth, your church, your schools, please do come on our website on Agape FM and touch base with Mandisa. And if you have a comment to drop for today's interview, please, you are more than welcome to go onto our Facebook page. Click on this interview that's happening with me, Yolanda Singh, on the Encounter Me slot with Mandisa, the beautiful Mandisa Makunga, and leave a comment or a heart or a like. Anything that you feel has moved your heart today. Thank you once again, Mandisa, for coming. It is really an awesome opportunity and an honor to have met you. And then I would like to close today with a song by Sinach that says, I humbly bow. Thank you. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful.